guess it wouldn't matter. I guess it wouldn't matter. I guess it wouldn't matter. That mass burns like a violin, sings only dead languages that loves the destruction the being put on for the mask that shines like a woman for the even though the woman wears it. The mask beat it with the freshwater pier, pearls, seeds, plum with the mask and that's soldier for the mouth and moon face. Healed gash, that means harvesting glover for the hiding mother wanting it, the grotesque of the pucker for the beacon of the mask and the braided for the mask. And here's a mask without the eyes of the mask. It looks like a mask, but isn't that for the trying to unribbon it for the mask of the snow cone. Full of wasps for the net, escaping your thought for the sting. Made one for the sheep eater, jackal, hidebound for the surrender for the love's identical line. It was a confession of poem for the what you can find opinion. The opium ball for the one who weighed that through the furniture, for the saddle for the cage depressing me, for the woodchuck for the checking over the scam, for the how the cow behind that dollar bin, for the shouldn't drink that, for the diarrhea you would give, for the bring enough for the everybody they're teaching your mother. And students for Christ and that for the find the room, for the no donkey is the virgin, for the evening beast and that for the bites the grass, and maybe it sounds better for the Persian women, maybe unseen for the force and propels of cars across that Whole Food parking lot for you haven't been born yet. I'd rather keep that for you as a pet for the sleeping in the wood shapers and home your pet. Burns like a violin, sings only dead languages that loves the destruction the being put on for the mask that shines like a woman for the even though the woman wears it. The mask beat it with the freshwater pier, pearls, seeds, plum with the mask and guts, soldier for the mouth and moon face. Healed gash, that means harvesting glover for the hiding mother wanting it, the grotesque of the pucker for the beacon of the mask and the braided for the mask. And here's a mask without the eyes of the mask. It looks like a mask, but isn't that for the trying to unribbon it for the mask of the snow cone. Full of wasps for the net, escaping your thought for the sting. Made one for the sheep eater, jackal, hidebound for the surrender for the love's identical line. It was a confession of poem for the what you can find opinion. The opium ball for the one who weighed that through the furniture, for the saddle for the cage depressing me, for the woodchuck for the checking over the scam, for the how the cow behind that dollar bin, for the shouldn't drink that, for the diarrhea you would give, for the bring enough for the everybody to teaching your mama. And students for Christ and that for the find the room, for the no donkey is the virgin, for the evening beast and that for the bites the grass, and maybe it sounds better for the Persian women, maybe unseen for the force and propels of cars across that Whole Food parking lot for you haven't been born yet. I'd rather keep that for you as a pet for the sleeping in the wood shapers and home your pet. Love you as the captive from whom he hated for just in how he felt. There was no honeymoon, so flat you can see everything, but not romantic enough for nobody can slip in and out for the secret, for the long gas to pump that for the last to worry for through the heart for the collapsing in the shade. I wish for the endless of the dollars for the higher ratio for the people to other people to find out for the what I want for the sense of you all come to the air conditioning and maybe the impossible to think through. Can you believe your ears and electric music for the world has been turned to the handbells and wish I can find a cushion for all my needs instead of the gloves to keep the handbells pure. We can get used to anything, that doesn't mean we should. I went to the wedding where everything was outrageous for the trying to act for the modest and nothing including for every goofy moment and an element for the people that find a bear for the costume for the golden nugget for the sinning for the ceiling for the never jerk back up for the out of the reach of the people tried to grab them long ago. Matrimony and family collected for the eggs and this would be the household village to the contribute for this would be the contribution for the kind for the gift for the reach of rich to find a period for the department for the store for the gifts and services electric sign for the heart and blind and high. They pick the dandelions and they make the wine. The chickens to make it fine for the grooms and cloak. One large brown wings on the belt for the what he wants, and there's the end to that. That bride is someone who ever has served. And no one asking for the someone who has to truly taste of freedom for the eyes and wide and nose and pellets for the nose and thrusting the unbiding and bidding for the better for the knowing that nobody never know that she lost. It was never then, never the band for the centuries for the bride and made it use of this way for this to have left for the woman, the girls, the first is swirling up for the one of their brother, the sweetness and sharpening in the red from his becoming woman and heavy loving. This will be desire inside and out, but maybe one, maybe night. Quite one full century. Maybe you will outlast those lines. Only should strike and die for the lover's complaint. You should never see me coming for the distant, never hear the end of it. The last line, who can prove it? Who will get the grip for that becomes the competition to find the desperate for the blue rhythm for the night for the hymn, gripping into the certain collapse. This is a contest of the word for the strongest, but who can find it? Inflicting of the pain for the whoever the adventure. When we won, but imagine after the round, back your back to the reaching to find a short thread for the breaths and tug of war for the heaviness of child grunting your hand. Open to your jerked and dragged off into the line. For the kid, the flounder for the musket, knock and splash, laugh for the relentless name. For the shivers about me, for the water, but the taste about the bitter for the poem. And then I win, and then you love me. Jericho grabbed that grip of me for the woman's rights, and now to the left of the composed and divine for the woman's ties, and lower the spirit for the aspiring man, for the making a home of earthly paradise, and the richening of all the joys of another lifespan. Running around in each fiber for the heart, for just to be the gentle influence and the love's might, sticking no joy for the wearing, and has no part for the undoubtedly the woman's rights, and that for the right to teach it, inflict to the mind for the training upward for this course. Root out of evil for the passion that will bind, and upward for the current for the reason to force to lead the earring or the spirit gently back for the sunken of the gloom. The deepest night for the point, shining path of virtues and track. Urge him forward, this is a woman's right for the soothing of the couch, of the pain for the pure mission for the pulling of birth, and this to prove the calm for the gentle care for the frenzy of the brain, for the keeping your vigil for the moving the holiest of love. Watch in time of the lonely bed, for the bright day, in soul and night, for this is only final issue for the love and the former slave, for the rest forever, for this is woman is right, for the flower, the blossoms, the best unseen, for the shelter, for the precincts, for their home. Dark and storm, loud intervene. There's a loud strife for the women's and never come. Scorn to the acts of the woman's part to cope back with the man till the might delay this maximum closer to the heart for this which God ordains is surely right. Left to compose and fighting.
There's no topics. I identify for the resulting not for the psychic for the tame unconscious stream for the hostility for the not for the as a new woman for the view their rival for the remain exclusively tender. It had been a totem pole or the totem animal for the what you gain the power for the eating from what you can find in patriarch. Ego alien for this to be the am. No one don't find an obsession for the what you get admitted for the psychiatric war for your unbidden for the association could not be induced to the abandon. Rare occasions she slept, manifest, and led in for the content for the dreams that it was a dance in the manner for the you could find a waking of the hours and project into the walls and still the screening of the silent film. Could not be induced and abandoned for the footage, and you cannot be induced by the abandoned for the object of the love. Who's an object choice was who had the ego, libido for the identification, who felt the friendship towards. Who drew the men to. Triangle on every surface, and she saw that for the, felt it for the chaos. Sometimes a triangle for the isolate. Sometimes it was the equilateral. And often it was right. And often wrong. And often underway. Some blackness of the pushing of the shadow for the trees and presence and for the needle for the outside that for the you could be dark inside for the picking apart for the long but here you are softening me. The sun you were deflected for the blinking of it. Would you find the light beverage you have the room for me for all you can do is light down for the anger easily for the this to be the way for the fact and take that rough for the argument for the both to go on the floor for the don't you feel with shade. You dream you are leaving me because an ordinary person if you did for you were awake and I'm ordinary anyway for the pushes through me. He doesn't have such a revenge. He gaze upon the rose for the wreathing of the hair, for the gazing upon the smile, for the what you drink, for the very air, for the breath, perfume for the wild, for the with the weight, for the gifting of a line, for the while in you which you lay. I swear your heart is a shrine for the only her sway. Revenge, Elise, scorn for the cheek, I but averted for the passing, and spoke more than words can speak. Bitter tears and him shed for the racking of doubts, burning fear for the revenge that will be. Nights pass in a sleepless care for the days the endless of the woe, for the talk by my heart to bear for the all yourself will know. I would not wish to see you lay within the early tomb for the forgetting how you betrayed that weeping of your doom. But this fitting for the punishment, for the living and the love and the vain, for the wronging of your heart, for the content, for the feeding upon your pain, for this to watch and light a slide. Beneath that sunny eye, when I turn on your rack of change and will for the better, for the have you provided, for the proof that you can almost pity the feel that do not be loving.
There's no topics. I identify for the resulting not for the psyche for the tame. Unconscious stream for the hostility for the not for the as a new woman for the view their rival for the remain exclusively tender. It had been a totem pole or a totem animal for the what you gain to power for the eating from what you can find in patriarch. Ego alien for this to be the am. No one don't find an obsession for the what you get admitted for the psychiatric war for your unbidden for the association could not be induced to the abandon. Rare occasions she slept, manifest, and led in for the content for the dreams that it was a dance in the manner for the you could find a waking of hours and projected into the walls as though the screening of the silent film could not be induced and abandoned for the footage, and you could not be induced by the abandon for the object of the love. Whose an object choice was, who had the ego or libido for the identification, who felt the friendship towards, who drew the mental. Triangle on every surface, and she saw that felt it for the chaos. Sometimes a triangle for the isolate, sometimes it was equilateral, and often it was right, and often wrong, and often underway. Some blackness of the pushing of the shadow for the trees and presence for the needle for the outside that for the you could be dark inside for the picking apart for the long for here you are salting to me. The sun, you were deflected for the blinking of it, but you find the light better you have the room for me, for all you can do is lie down for the anger easily, for the this to be the way for the fact and take that rough for the argument, for the both to go on the flow for the don't you feel your shade. You dream you are leaving me because an ordinary person, if you did, for you were awake and I'm ordinary anyway, for the pushes through me. He doesn't have such a revenge. He gazed upon the rose for the wreathing of the hair, for the gazing upon the smile, for the what you drank, for the very air, for the breath, perfume for the wild, for the this with the weight, for the gifting of a line, for the while in you which you lay. I swear your heart is a shrine for the only her sway. Revenge, Elise, scorn for the cheek, I but averted for the passing and spoke more than words can speak. Bitter tears and him shed for the racking of doubts, burning fear for the revenge and that will be. Nights pass in a sleepless care for the days the endless of the woe, for the talk by my heart to bear for the all yourself will know. I would not wish to see you lay within the early tomb for the forgetting how you betrayed that weeping of your doom. But this fitting for the punishment, for the living and the love and the vain, for the wronging of your heart, for the content, for the feeding upon your pain, for this to watch and light a slide. Beneath that sunny eye, when I turn on your rack of change and will for the better, for the have you provided, for the proof that you can almost pity for the feel that do not be loved. dream state. In a dream state. In a dream state. While the doormat asks neurotic questions about his ex, dream girl looks at her watch and for men, the men brings up her ex. This man never says everyone is in love with. Dream girl won't ask for a photo, but the photo of the ex is provided for the dream girl won't meet the experience or appearance of the ex. The appearance is because of that man, but likely rush to the ex's defense. Lessons die for the winning man and considers his ex a surprise. Look what it has to do with the moving ex. Can't forget he's the battle of the ex. What should you say when he asks questions about your ex? Remember you're a prize, so you didn't need to report your ex stolen appliances at default. Child support for the ex and a hassle. Brother for the doing time for the racketeering victim ex is still stalking you. Because your man would not find these ex stories charming. If he's classy, so what you say about your ex is simply you want different things. Or alternately, my ex and I went separate ways, it's none of your business. And the ex is all the past and the jewelry your ex gave you, what you pawned. Your violent fantasies about your ex because inquiring minds don't need to know. Did you know the exes are common conversation, the topic of the morning man, but you remember my ex? The one who snapped. Might say referring to the terrible ex, quote unquote, was the part possessed by the demons of the dust, causing the inevitable with the car. An extramarital affair, of course, he never had to do anything with his ex. Transformation, he was a perfect angel. But lo and behold, the ex, words with the woman suddenly required women to believe those narratives of the ex created themselves with death of doormats with the loves to be set by variables. And the dream girls must take control of the world of unknowns. Participant for the simulated, for the actual single, for the something for the recently widowed. Attached that goes for the other legally attached to the living person once but never long. Longer love, and not surprising, number for the love of the partners profoundly with the fearing and sad partners inhabited for the category for the who love them longer for the participants of the fear may never have it profound. Attempted to self-protect by labeling themselves single. Soon a pattern emerged, and those who feared abandonment for the bill of battle. Develop it around that for the planetary like a orbit for the potential newer partners who were finding including not attached that because they were already getting. Such orbits lasted sometimes for years. Orbiters went to the self-help group for the dispute and analysis. Wrote letters to the advice columnists because they could not detach from their objects. And reunited for the affection, they became predominant clientele for the future for the single cruises. Sustaining the singles and improving the business. The superpower was that the testicles that manufactured the sperm for exclusively for the X chromosome. That was ironic for them because they could find a beast to the woman for this to be the baby. The groove with the singing man for the father for the barely saw, then less that for the runner studio for the penny, which was okay for the mother, but they're not jealous enough to get to the giving birth to the girls who could find the products of the after the X chromosome for the making of the monster. Soon suffered the hands of the acid monster with the X insinuation for the suffering. In the meanwhile, the girls became righteous and stopped death and sitting in the desert, becoming daughters and the lovers of peace. To say the least. Questions about his ex. Dream girl looks at her watch and for men, the men brings up her ex. This man never says everyone is in love with. Dream girl won't ask for a photo, but a photo of the ex is provided for the dream girl won't delete the experience or appearance of the ex. The appearance is because of that man for the likely rush to the ex's defense. Lessons die for the when the man considers his ex a surprise to look what it has to do for the when the movement acts.